there's a profound reason why, despite the passing of time, despite the silence, and despite all the decisions you've already made, that person still lingers in your mind, like a whisper that refuses to fade away. Perhaps you've tried everything, changing your environment, keeping yourself busy, even convincing yourself that you've moved on. And yet, they return to you in dreams, in memories, in songs, in casual words spoken by others. Why does their presence refuse to disappear? What does it truly mean to keep thinking about someone who is no longer an active part of your life? Carl Jung would not have dismissed this as mere attachment or emotional dependency. In his understanding, the unconscious mind operates with deeper reasons that our conscious mind has yet to fully comprehend. When someone remains deeply engraved in your inner world, it's not necessarily a sign that you should reunite with them. It's not even proof that love is still alive between you. Instead, it signifies that something within you is yet to be seen, acknowledged, or healed, something that this person came to reveal to you. Jung taught us that our relationships are not random occurrences. Every person who enters our life, especially those who leave an emotional imprint, serves a psychic function. They act as mirrors, reflecting what we have yet to recognize within ourselves. That persistent mental presence may have little to do with the person themselves and more to do with what they represented in your inner landscape. Perhaps they triggered an old wound, embodied an unconscious image you've carried since childhood, or served as a catalyst for an internal awakening that you have yet to fully understand. For this reason, constantly thinking about someone is not necessarily a sign of unresolved love, but of an incomplete inner process. The mind, when it does not fully comprehend an experience, repeats it. It repeats to understand. It repeats to heal. And as long as the lesson remains unintegrated, it will keep returning. Jung stated clearly, "What you do not make conscious will manifest in your life as fate." If, instead of fighting against these thoughts, you choose to listen to them, not from nostalgia or longing, but from deep curiosity, what might you discover? What part of you was activated by that person? What wounds did they touch? What emotions did they force you to confront? Because if you are constantly thinking about someone, it is not them demanding your attention. It is a part of yourself that was illuminated through that relationship. Sometimes the mind insists because something within you remains incomplete, and that unfinished work is not outside of you, nor is it with the other person. It is within you. This is where true inner work begins. If you're serious about transforming your life before the end of this year, subscribe to Motivation Dose right now. We deliver daily wisdom that will guide you towards self-discovery and personal growth. Our community is growing stronger every day, with people just like you who are committed to becoming their best selves. Don't miss another day of inspiration. Subscribe now. This inner work is not about forcefully severing ties or pretending that they never existed. It's about facing the emotional truth they left behind. Because as long as you keep running from it, it will continue to chase you. This is not about idealizing the past or clinging to something that no longer exists. It is about understanding that your unconscious mind is still working with that bond. Jung explained that when an emotional experience is not integrated, it becomes an energetic knot in your psyche, a knot that influences your decisions, your future relationships, and even your self-esteem. That's why when you think of that person, you're not simply reliving the past out of weakness. You're revisiting something unresolved, something that is still waiting to be untangled, not with rejection, but with compassion. And no, you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not weak for still thinking about someone. You are human, and you're going through one of the deepest processes a soul can experience. the integration of an emotional experience that transformed your life. Don't punish yourself for it. Instead, be grateful that your mind is showing you exactly what still needs your love and presence. Many times, we believe that love is what binds us to someone. But love is not always the force that keeps us attached. Sometimes, it's an unresolved emotion, an unconscious need, or an image we projected without realizing it. According to Jung, we don't love with the heart alone. We love with the entire psyche. And within that psyche are fragments of history, repressed desires, fears we have yet to confront, and symbols that guide us towards something we need to learn. So if you still find yourself thinking about that person, it may not be love. It may be a psychic resonance. Something within you responded to something within them, and that response has not yet been fully integrated. Thinking constantly about someone may be the manifestation of an activated archetype. Perhaps they represented the figure of a savior, an ideal, an emotional refuge, or even a shadow disguised as light. Jung explained that the collective unconscious is filled with universal images that reside within all of us. These archetypes are deeply embedded in our psyche, shaping our perceptions, emotions, and experiences in ways we often don't consciously realize. When someone activates one of these profound images within us, the impact is so deep that even after their departure, the sensation of something missing lingers. This absence is not necessarily because that person is irreplaceable, but because the symbol they embodied has yet to be fully understood or integrated within us. That consistent thought, that constant mental presence of someone who is no longer part of our life, is often not about them at all. Instead, it's a search for closure, but not closure with them. It's a search for closure within yourself. Your unconscious is calling you back to the moment when everything changed, not so you can remain stuck there, but so you can reclaim what you lost when you gave yourself away without reservation. Perhaps you sacrificed parts of yourself for love. Maybe you silenced your voice to avoid conflict, altered your nature to fit into their world, or suppressed your desires to maintain harmony. And even though that person is no longer present in your life, the echo of that self-abandonment continues to reverberate within you. Every time you think of them, your unconscious might not be longing for the relationship itself, but trying to return to you what you once surrendered. It's telling you, look here. Here is where a silent agreement was made, where you cease to be fully yourself. It's not that you necessarily want to rekindle the relationship. Rather, a part of you desires to come home to yourself. And that, according to Jung, is the true spiritual work. To retrieve what was lost in the journey of love, even when love meant forgetting yourself. Thinking about someone is not always about nostalgia. Sometimes it's a form of resistance to growth, because growing requires accepting that no matter how meaningful that story was, it has already fulfilled its purpose. And here lies the internal conflict between the conscious and unconscious. Your rational mind understands that it's time to move forward, yet your unconscious still seeks understanding. It doesn't want to simply forget. It wants to integrate. It wants to make sense of the experience, to transform the wound into wisdom. And for that, you need presence. Not more distractions, not more desperate attempts to silence your thoughts. Instead, what's required is an honest and compassionate gaze into what truly happened. What did you discover about yourself in that relationship? Which parts of you blossomed and which parts withered away? Who did you truly love, the person or the image you created of them? These are not just casual reflections. They are keys that unlock inner doors that have remained shut since it all ended. Your soul knows that thinking about this person is not a mistake. It's a call to wake up. And the more you allow yourself to answer that call without judgment, the closer you come to true closure. The kind that doesn't depend on conversations, reunions, or external validation, but on a deep and personal acceptance. The story was what it needed to be, and now the journey is about returning to yourself. If you found value in today's message, make sure you become part of our Motivation Dose family by subscribing right now. Every day, we share powerful insights like these that can transform your perspective and help you build the life you truly deserve. Our subscribers tell us that our daily content has been a guiding light during their most challenging times. Don't walk this journey alone. Join us, subscribe, and let's grow together. Your future self will thank you for the decision you make today. When Jung spoke of individuation, he was referring to this very process, the journey back to the self. Every intense relationship, every loss, every love that left its mark on your soul is part of that journey. Not to define you, but to refine you. As if every person you have ever loved was a mirror, reflecting hidden aspects of yourself, aspects you had yet to discover. And when you remember that person, what you're truly seeing is not them, but yourself, illuminated in a new way. There are connections that are not severed by absence. Some people don't need to be physically present to continue influencing your emotions, your thoughts, even your daily choices. That is the true depth of a psychological bond. It's not measured by physical proximity, but by the invisible imprint it leaves within you. And that imprint, according to Jung, is not merely the residue of love. It is the result of a resonance between your unconscious and the symbolic role that person played in your life. It's not that you're trapped in the past because of weakness. Rather, it's because your soul still has something to tell you through that story, something you may not have been able to hear while you were emotionally entangled. When we're deeply immersed in a relationship, especially one that touches the very core of our being, clarity is difficult to maintain. The intensity of emotions clouds our judgment. Our feelings dominate our perspective. But when everything ends, when silence settles in, then arises the true opportunity for understanding. And thinking about that person is not necessarily a regression. It can be the beginning of a profound realization, the emergence of wisdom that has been waiting to unfold within you. Liberation is not a straight path, nor is it immediate. It's a descent into the depths of your soul. And though it may be painful, that very pain is proof that something within you is awakening. Perhaps what you truly need is not to stop thinking about that person, but to stop judging yourself for doing so. Because as long as you fight your own thoughts, you won't be able to access the message they hold. And that message is the key to your growth, your healing, and your transformation. Your unconscious is guiding you towards something greater, not toward the return of a person, but toward the return to yourself, to that place where you feel whole without needing external validation. Because when you finally understand what that person represented, when you integrate the meaning of their presence in your life, you no longer need them to be physically present in order to find peace. And that is true freedom. When you can remember without pain, when you can release without fear, when you can love without attachment. There will come a moment when that person stops appearing in your mind with the same intensity, not because you erased them, nor because you replaced them, but because they no longer occupy the same space within you. The memory will remain as part of your story, but it will no longer hurt. It will no longer disturb you. It will no longer dictate your emotions. And on that day, without even realizing it, you will have completed a cycle. Because what truly gets released is not the person, It's the energy you unknowingly invested in them. It's the expectation you placed upon them. It's the part of you that was still waiting for answers or a different ending. And when all of that transforms, what remains is peace. A deep, genuine peace. Not the kind you fake to move on, but the kind that comes when you no longer need to understand everything to feel at ease. Jung said that there is no awakening of consciousness without pain. And yes, thinking constantly about someone can be a form of pain, but it can also be a sign that you are on the edge of a transformation. Don't run from what you feel. Don't punish yourself for remembering. Listen to what your soul is trying to tell you through those thoughts, because behind every emotion, there is a truth waiting to be revealed. And that truth is not outside of you. It has always been within. You have gone through a process that many people experience, but few dare to look at with true depth. And by facing it with courage and compassion, you're not just healing yourself, you're also showing others that it's possible to transform pain into wisdom, absence into presence, and loss into growth. Remember, every time you honor your emotional journey, you're not just changing your life, you're inspiring others to do the same. And that is the ripple effect of inner work. One person at a time, healing becomes not just personal, but collective. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for having the courage to look within. And most importantly, thank you for being willing to transform your pain into purpose, your wounds into wisdom, and your memories into meaning. This is Motivation Dose, and I'll see you in the next video.